Good evening. On behalf of AT Sri Lanka, I'd like to warmly welcome you all to the revision webinar series conducted focusing on July 2026 examination. This examination, July 2026 examination, is very special to you as well as to AT Sri Lanka because this is going to be the very first examination conducted for AT new curriculum to 2025 and 2030. So several subjects were subject to very substantial changes and modifications in the syllabus. So digital transformation and information systems was one of them. There were considerable changes in the subject. So today the session focuses on the cybersecurity area mainly for the revision purpose. And we have invited a resource personnel who's very versatile and experienced in the information technology domain, Mr. Dileepa Ilangakon. He has more than 15 years of experience in practice and in lecturing for the information technology area. And he has his master's, bachelor's in the information technology domain. And I hope he will be very useful. His experience will be useful for you to have an understanding, thorough understanding about the cyber security area. So I invite Ms. Dilipati Langakon to conduct the session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Ajani. So, everybody, good evening to you all. So, as Ms. Ajani explained, so there are several new additions I have done to this subject, digital transformation and information systems textbooks. So, in that area, the most important and the newest part is cybersecurity. So today we are going to discuss that chapter 4, and especially targeting your exam. So remember, this is not a comprehensive lecture about the chapter 4. So this is like a revision, and you may have questions, so you can raise your hands, or you may type on the question and answer section of the chat. So I will time to time read that one and answer you. So let me share the screen and start our revision. So I hope you all clearly hear my voice. So if any difficulty in technical side, please let me know, because unless you are talking to me, I can't, there's no way to get and understand about your condition. So I hope you can see my shared screen as well as you can see me in a small screen. So I will keep that for continuously. Then it will be more interactive rather than I'm just talking to the screen as well as you are just looking at the presentation. So let's continue in that way. Okay, cyber security and data privacy. This is your chapter 4, and this is newly included into your syllabus. So this just information about me that's already you know. So if we talk about information security, or basically for the moment we will talk cyber security and information security together, that's okay. We will learn the difference between these two terms. So when we talk information security, there's a very important thing that's called CIA triad, or we call CIA triangle. That means there are three terms starting from C, I, and A. The C stands for confidentiality. Confidentiality should be protected. That means protecting data from unauthorized access is the confidentiality. The next one is integrity. Integrity means ensuring data accuracy all over the system. I will explain that more and more. The third one is availability. Availability means ensuring the data is accessible whenever we want. So this CIA factors, three factors, or we call CIA triangle, is the most important thing regarding information security. If one of these we called pillars, is broken, there's no information security. Now think about the confidentiality is gone. Hackers can hack, criminals can use your data, private data for any kind of things. So there's no confidentiality. So, but integrity and availability is there. In such case, C, the confidentiality is gone. So, in that kind of situation, we cannot say information security is 100% guarantees because confidentiality is gone. Likewise, all three factors, CIA, three factors are equally important. So remember, CIA triangle is very important when we talk about information security. So basically, confidentiality, if I explain it again, confidentiality means protecting data from unauthorized access. Who are the unauthorized access? Let's take an example. If your mobile phone is yours, anyone else is using that one is unauthorized access. Anyone except you are unauthorized people. So they cannot access your data. So in a company level, if someone who outsider accessing your information in your company, maybe in a laptop or server or any other computer, is a unauthorized person. So that access is an unauthorized access. So those are helping to data breaches. So we cannot have data breaches in a company. So that's why we should prevent our data in a confidential way. So we have Umair. Uh, yes. Yeah. Umair is raising his hand. Yes, Umair, you can talk. So we can't hear you. Okay, if you can, please type the question in the chat area. Then I. Yeah, sure. Yeah, can't hear. Yes, I'm really sorry that something happened during the broadcast. Okay, so I will explain that again because while sharing, I mistakenly clicked on the mic, so I forgot to unmute that one. So I think now it's okay. Can you hear me? Please confirm. Someone confirm, please. I think now you can. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So now you can hear me. So let's continue. So I'll start from the CIA explanation. CIA stands for confidentiality, integration, integrity, and the accessibility. In that case, we should protect all these three pillars. We call sometimes pillars. All these three pillars at any cost. That means if one pillar is broken, we cannot tell information security is there. Why? Information security is totally gone. You can't tell other two pillars are there, therefore we can say the information security is available. No. All three pillars are equally important. Now remember, let's talk about the confidentiality. Confidentiality means the the we should protect our data from unauthorized access. Unauthorized people cannot access our data, change our data, whatever the things, we should not allow anyone who unauthorized to do in our system. Take an example as your mobile phone. So your mobile phone belongs to you. Anyone else who is using your personal mobile phone is a unauthorized access, unauthorized user. Likewise, when we talk about a company, we must have that type of confidentiality for our data. So, further, we continue into the integrity. Integrity means we ensure the data accuracy all over the places. Example, your NIC number, name, school, your qualifications, and anything should not be changed between departments of your company, or maybe between your university, or between any other places. So your NIC number is unique, whether you go to the NIC department, or whether you go to the motor traffic department, or you go to the foreign affairs department, your NIC is single number. That's it. So it should not be changed from places to places. That's called the integrity. The next one is availability. Availability means whenever we want some data, that data should be available. If you want some data and you get it tomorrow, that's not a good availability. Whenever you want data, data should be accessible easily, and those can be kept as archived data, or any kind of technology can be used to protect them. However, data must be available whenever you want. You means as a person, maybe you, as a person, or as a company, as a government, whatever the way, data should be available when you need that data. So CIA is very important when we talk about information security. Okay, so I think we don't have any problems now. I hope you all can hear. So let's move to the next slide. Okay, if you have that kind of technical or anything, just raise your hand, because sometimes I can't see that chat box. I have to go to that one and open it. Therefore, I will not focus on that one continuously. So it's better if you have any technical or whatever, any type of question, a little questions only. Later we can have a question and answer session at the end. So raise your hand, then only I can see. Okay. Let's continue for the next slide. Defining the scope of cyber security and the information security. I told you, for the moment, let's talk cyber security and information security are similar, but there are very clean and cut differences between these two. Let's talk about the information security. It's we called an umbrella term. Umbrella term means it's a huge term which covers entire area. It's like like an umbrella or like a roof, because it covers whole sort of area. The scope of information security is to protect all forms of data. You can see my mouse pointer protects all forms of data, whether it's a physical or digital. That means whether your data in a paper, maybe printout, maybe a photocopy, maybe a book, or whatever the way, or maybe in a digital format, maybe inside the hard disk, inside the CD, inside the pen drive, whatever the way, data is data. So, information security guaranteed to secure or the protect all kind of information, whether it's in a physical or whether it's in a digital format. That's the highest level definition about the scope of information security. And if we go to the cyber security, cyber security scope is different. It's focused on the digital systems, networks, and electronic data. Basically, data in an electronic format. When we transferring our data in a network, it goes as a electricity. So that's the digital format. When it goes to the CD or DVD, again it's in a digital format. So cybersecurity focus on digital systems, digital networks, and the electronic data only. But information security focus on everything related to the information and the data. That's why we call it an umbrella term. This one is the digital walls. That means it's a limited area or subset of the information security. So, information security focus on the safeguard against unauthorized access, thefting, damaging from any sources, maybe natural, maybe physical, maybe internal errors or external, whatever the type of things can be happen to data. So the focus is to safeguard against to any possible kind of damages or theft or access or any kind of internal and external possibilities can be happen to a data. That's the focus. It's a huge area of focus. But if we think about the cyber security focus, it depends proactively, defends proactively against specific digital cyber threats. Maybe for hackers, maybe from crackers, maybe viruses, malware, phishing attacks, DOS attacks, kind of. It specify the attack. It doesn't care about all type of things, but specify only on a specific areas. So that's the difference. Again, it's like a subset of the information security. So remember, however, both are agree in one place. Information security and the cyber security both are agree in one place. That place is ensure CIA triangle. Ensure CIA. CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. However, the way it should, cyber security or the information security must be able to ensure the CIA triangle. So that's their common goal. So I hope you can clear that. Let's move to the possible threats. When we talk about information security and the cyber security, we have lots of possible threats. Let's go to the first one. That's malware. We called malware. Malware is a large area. It's like again an umbrella term. Malware means stands for malicious software. The short form is malware. Malicious software means malware. So it's like viruses, worms, ransomware, and lots of harmful systems, softwares, programs are considered or belonging into this malware term. So malware means anything. If you talk about virus, it's a malware. If you talk about a worm, it's a malware. So malicious activities, any harmful activity can be done if there's any software that can do any kind of harmful to a data, to a computer system, or to a network, we can call it a malware. So where is virus? Virus is inside malware. Okay. So next one is phishing attack. Phishing attack is a type of modern but very popular, very common, and also very successful type of attack. All the times hackers are getting very much benefits because of this phishing attack. So what is phishing attack? Phishing attack means an email or any kind of message, maybe WhatsApp type of message, maybe SMS. So it it's acting like a real email or real email you are getting from a popular company. Maybe your HR, maybe your CIO, or maybe your CEO of your company, maybe directors, or maybe a company like Microsoft, Google, DHL kind of company that you believe. Then what they do, they inform you something to act. Maybe your Microsoft email is now going to deactivate, or your Google Drive is almost full. Now you have to click this link and get registered for additional spaces. That kind of misleading messages are called phishing attacks. So once you see that one, you think it's from our boss, it's from our HR department, or it's from our any kind of other known sources like Microsoft, Google, or Oracle, or kind of company. Then you, without thinking, you click on that one and fill that data. In that moment, they steal your data. So it's called the phishing attack. Basically, it comes as an email or message. Next one is ransomware. Ransom means in Sinhala, kappam කියන එක. Kappam. So that's the ransom. So they ask for ransom. Once they attack your computer or the network or the server, they block your data. They corrupt your data. Entire data set is corrupted. You can't double click, or you can't even copy and paste, or you can't even see any file in your system. Now think about it happens to a large company with thousands of company information, thousands of customer details, like a bank. What will happen? Now the attackers then inform you to unlock that data, or let's say to decrypt that data. You have to pay for them the ransom. That's why we call it a ransom. But phishing attack, malware, those are not focusing for your money. They don't take or they don't request money from you. But ransomware is a different type. It's directly asking for the money. They block the data. To unblock the data, you have to pay them. Once you pay, they will unlock. Maybe they don't. They don't. However, what they are talking about is we will unlock once you pay the ransom. So that's the ransomware. Very, very dangerous, very popular thing. The next one is denial of service, or we call DOS. It's a type of attack. It's not a software like phishing or malware or ransomware. It's a type of attack. DOS means denial of service. Basically, the service is not available. Once you log into the system itself say this system is not available for your service. So think about, you go to ATM and in the screen it say this ATM is out of service. You think something happened to the ATM and you go home, okay, or else you go to some other places. That because a DOS attack has happened. Actually, the service is not down, but it seems show you the service is down. Or maybe it do the real system shutdown. However, the way the customer cannot get the service. That's the target. The target is customer blocking from getting the service. That's the target of denial of service. So denial of service or DOS attack is highly popular in banking sector because banks are highly customer oriented, as well as thousands of customers doing transaction daily, every second, thousands of customers doing their payments, transaction, ATM, and kind of lot of things. Therefore, banks in systems are highly vulnerable to DOS attacks, denial of service. So the next one is man in the middle. Man in the middle means when you do a payment of any kind of thing, you are in a one side, the other side is the bank, or maybe that company, or maybe that particular website you are going to buy something. That's the other end. One end you, the other end is that particular man or institute or the website. So in between, you are transferring data through the networks, through any kind of web browsers or the mobile apps or whatever the format is using. Now, there is a man, we call him the middleman. That's why we call man in the middle. He hijack your communication and get the password and usernames and whatever relevant credit card information, card numbers, card limits, and the PIN numbers and anything. So you don't know it's happening because you do the same transaction. Yes, that is perfectly happening. But after few times or few days or few months, you find your data is stolen. Why? Some credit card transactions are happening without knowing you. That because you have been hacked by a man in the middle attack. That because on the same time, they don't do anything. They allow you to do the transaction, but they monitor your transaction. That means they capture your data, card numbers, PIN numbers, account numbers, passwords, usernames, anything. They steal that data. That's why we call man in the middle. One man is you, the other man is that particular bank or that company, the third man is the hacker. Okay, let's move to the number 6, SQL injection. SQL injection normally happen with the databases. You know, there's the database language is we called SQL. SQL is the language of databases like Java, .NET, Python. Likewise, SQL is a language for the databases. So when we save something, we update something or whatever the operations with the database, it use SQL instruction set. If some attacker can hijack into that one, we call it injection, like injection, inject their malicious information or malicious code into that SQL query or the SQL instruction set, he can do a damage to the data. It's like he inject your database without knowing that's why we call SQL injection. So malicious SQL code is injected secretly into the database. So because a database know how to work with the SQL language, that's its own language. Therefore, if we tell something bad, for an example, let's say the hackers say delete all customer credit card details. So that's his bad SQL injection. He gave it to the database without knowing. Now the database itself going to execute the instruction because it knows how to do SQL. So that's we called SQL injection. The next one is zero-day exploit. Zero-day means on the same day. If we call zero-day, that means on the same day. Otherwise, others are not zero-day. That means more than one day. So I will explain that one first. If any virus is there in the world, the virus companies, antivirus companies, they study that one and release their virus antivirus software versions or maybe updates to the databases. So our computers get download these updates. Now our computer is protected because antivirus company gave us that update. So our company can protect our data from that particular virus. But zero-day attack means on the same day the hackers do all the kind of exploitation in our computer. So software company cannot identify anything before that they do the attack and they exit. So that's called the zero-day exploit. Zero-day. That means there's no any second day to understand and give a protection. Only one day, within the same day, do the attack and get the data and go away. So there's no any chance to software companies or the antivirus companies to study and prevent. That's the zero-day exploit. Next one is insider threats. Remember, insider threats is the most dangerous threat among these 10. Why it's called insider means an employee who is working for the company, but that person mistakenly or maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally deleting the data, damaging the data, maybe stealing data and giving to someone else. So in that case, that insider employer or employee is the most dangerous threat in a company. So insider threat is considered as one of greatest threat in the industry, in cybersecurity industry. Next one, advanced persistent threats. We call it APT. It's a very long-term threat. Stealing, stealth, attacks by sophisticated cyber criminals, often for spying. That means it's unlike a virus, simple ransomware, or any kind of zero-day exploit. No, it's advanced and it's persistent. That means it's happening for months, maybe years. We don't know until it do a huge attack. Maybe it's inside our computer systems, in a bank or in an office or even in our personal computer or in a mobile phone. It resides for a long time and steal our data. It's like someone continuously spying on us. But we don't know, we'll allow unknowingly to steal all the data into that. That's why we call advanced and also persistent. Others are on the spot attack, one day, 0-day attack, maybe phishing attack one time, kind of thing. But these are advanced, persistent threats. It remains for months, maybe years, without knowing anything, without letting the users to identify. That's why we call it advanced. The last one is social engineering. Social engineering means psychological manipulation. So users may be using internet or maybe Facebook kind of thing or whatever the format to manipulate your mind and trick you to give your password and confidential data. Maybe in a different way. We can talk later. Later slides are there. But for the moment, it understand social engineering means use an emotional intelligence to identify the weaknesses of people. Let's say we manipulate. So let's say a hacker manipulates someone and that person is now ready to give his credit card details. Not a friend, I mean no, some stranger, but he manipulates you to give some data. So it's like a psychological manipulation. Though others are technical related things. This is a psychological manipulation. That's why we call social engineering. Social engineering is very powerful because if you go to an airport or any kind of public places, those are the places where social engineering highly happen. Why? Not like unlike in Sri Lanka. So some other foreign countries, they use public Wi-Fi. Everybody is technically facilitated. They know they use a lot of technologies. Therefore, the hackers also living with them. They go to public places and steal this information using psychological manipulation. They manipulate people to give the information, or maybe they use a small devices without knowing. So for an example, they request your phone to get a call. So you allow him to get a call. The meanwhile, he immediately install a software, maybe no need to install. However, the way they steal the data. So that kind of social or psychological, emotional things are happening or are taking as the weapons by the hackers in social engineering. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So we are now moving to the a different area that's called the cyber security threats and the vulnerabilities. Talking about 10 common security vulnerabilities, we first found the weak passwords. Most of the problems are starting because of the weak passwords. Weak passwords are easy to guess. Or maybe the people reuse the same password for everywhere, for the laptop, for the mobile phone, for the email, for different types of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere same password. And also that password is very weak. maybe your name and 123. Maybe someone, some very popular thing, maybe your date of birth, maybe your mobile number, or very small, very easy to guess thing are called weak password. So don't use that kind of thing. That's one common security vulnerabilities uh, in in society as well as in the organizations. So another question comes, uh, what is mean by vulnerability? Yes, vulnerability means think as a possibility. Vulnerability means a possibility of happening something. Vulnerability means the possibility of happening a bad thing. That's the vulnerability. Got it? So security vulnerability means a possibility to happen some bad thing to your security. That's called the security vulnerability. Bad thing, always focusing on the bad possibilities. Okay, the next one is unpatched software. Softwares have patches because the patches means updates. Or if some kind of bad thing or bad weaknesses are identified by the software company, they release patches. Maybe sometimes versions, maybe sometimes patches. If you don't install these patches to your computer or the phone or to office computers or to office servers, your computer is vulnerable for threats. That's why we call vulnerable. That means the possible for threats, vulnerable for the threats. So remember, unpatched software is another common security vulnerability. When you keep your software without installing patches or the versions upgrades, that means you are in a risk because most viruses are updating day by day. But your system is very old because in that case, your computer or the system doesn't know about these modern viruses. If any attack happen, you don't know, your computer don't know how to behave, how to get protected. So next one is misconfigured security settings. Misconfigured security settings. So security settings should be configured properly. So it's like settings, changing the settings. But if some computer or network or any the system in a company is poorly configured or poorly set up, then it will allow hackers to come in because the proper settings are not there. It's like you have a huge wall protecting your land from outsiders, but there's a small hole or there's a small door without a lock. Then there's a small gap between the security and your property. So any hacker, any outsider can come into your property or come into your home or the land using that small missed place. So those are the misconfigured security settings. Next one is lack of encryption. Encryption is converting original data into something that cannot read and understand. Encryption is converting your data into some other format that nobody can understand. So then only the receiver, correct receiver can understand. So like for an example, you write a letter and you convert it into numbers and whatever the symbols. Now I have the letter, but I can't understand. Why? I don't know this language. But when that letter handed over to the correct person, he or she knows how to unconvert or reconvert into the original. We called it decryption. Encryption is converting into unreadable format. Decryption is converting it back to the original format. So only the real user, the real recipient of that letter knows how to decrypt the data. Then only he or she can understand that one. So that's one way to protect the data. The question, we have a question, will the recording of this session be available? Yes. And also, this is now broadcasting live on YouTube. So you can later go to Double AT YouTube channel and this will be there. It's now broadcasting live, and also you can later take that one, not from here. You can just go to YouTube and see. And also this presentation and sample questions we will discuss at the end will be shared with you. Okay, don't worry, no need to write or take screenshots or whatever, will be shared with you. Okay, so lack of encryption is another thing that can be happen to the company or any kind of data that's create security vulnerabilities. So the phishing exposure. Phishing exposure, I explained earlier, users react to fraudulent emails. They think this email is correct, coming from the boss, coming from the Microsoft, coming from the Google, and they react on that one. So that's we call phishing exposure. If someone believe this email and react, that means your entire company is now at a risk. Why? This person click on that one and enter all the details. Now hackers can come into our computer network in the office. So that's a risk. That's a security vulnerability. Next one is poor access control. Access control means we should access users from editing, deleting, or maybe reading data uh, that they do not want to see. Example, marketing department must see only marketing department data. They should not see payroll data. The finance department should see the finance related data. They should not see the HR, salaries, and everything. So we must have proper access controls. The person based on the particular job role, we should consider them to give a proper access. If not, we call poor access control will allow someone to go here and there and delete the data and copy the data, maybe give to outsiders. That can be, that type of things are possible with poor access control. So remember, it's like you are only to access to particular place with your fingerprint. It's a physical access control. The same way in the software, we have some access controls. That's why when you double click something, you will get, you are not allowed to open this file. Kind of things are possible in the access control. The next one is IoT vulnerabilities. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Things, THINGS, things. Things means anything, everything. Internet means connected. Interconnected everything stands for IoT. If you say the meaning, if you want to know the meaning, what's the real meaning of IoT, it means interconnected everything. We call IoT of things. So IoT is another high vulnerability in a company or maybe any other places. Why? What are the IoT devices? Your sensors, your CCTV, voice recorders, your digital or that health strap when you are wearing on your wrist, or any kind of digital device that collect your data, company data, and connect to the servers or to your computer network in the company. That because there are so many places to access, means hackers also can access through these devices. They can hack into the CCTV. Through the CCTV, they can connect to the server system and shut down anything. So through that, your wristwatch, they can access. For an example, your mobile phone, sometimes if you are working in a company, you can access your office email through your mobile phone. That's the kind of IoT device because you access your office data through this one. If something happened to your mobile phone or to your wristwatch or Apple Watch or Google that smartwatch, that device can be used as a access path. So IoT vulnerabilities are that. Next one is BYOD risk. BYOD stands for bring your own disk. Bring your own, sorry, device. Bring your own device. Earlier, companies said bring your own device, BYOD. So they plug into their network and anything, then you can work. So you can bring your home laptop, your personal mobile phone, personal tab to office, and they will connect to the laptop. So to the office network. So it's a highly security, it creates high security vulnerabilities. Why? Your computer, mobile phone, or tab can have viruses. So why we are letting unwanted device to access our office network and let our data to be in a highly vulnerability to area. So BYOD is a very dangerous risk. Next one is lack of employee training. Did this cause for the internal threats? Why? If the people are not knowing what to do or how to prevent from clicking these unwanted emails and how to prevent accessing unwanted links, websites, they will click on that one and let company data to go out. So lack of training, lack of employee training is a huge mistake done by companies when it comes to this data security. Last one is open ports and weak firewalls. Firewall is a software and hardware combination. It protects our internal computer system from the internet or any kind of outside networks. So it's like a wall. That's why we called firewall. Through that wall, nobody can come. Only the allowed people. It's like a gate. Only the authorized people will be allowed to come inside. Also, the out when we go to the outside, only the allowed people will be going to outside. So it's a protection barrier. It's a software and hardware collaboration. It protect your inside from the outside world. So what is open port? Open port means computers, networks have some kind of access places. Those access places we can call that it's like a gate or maybe a door or maybe a portal or simply the port. So open ports should be closed. Open ports should be closed. Otherwise, hackers can identify these open ports and come into our networks. It's like you keep all the doors in your home protected, but there's a small door inside your backside of the home. It's without any protection. It's open. So hackers or the thieves can come into your home using that small door. That those are the open ports. So let's move forward. Next, we come to another section called impact. The impacts, however, the impact may be from malware or whatever the types of attacks that we discussed earlier can be happening in two ways. One into the system level, one into the organization level. If it's happened to the system level, it happens like data breaches. That means our data will be stolen. Data will be leaked to outsiders. That's unauthorized access or extraction of our data. That's data breach. The second one is system downtime. System attack can be result your system shut down. When you go to a bank, it say the system is down. That may be because system level attack. So that's another possibility, that is system downtime. One possibility is data breaches. Data can be go or change, go outside or change. That is data breaches. System downtime, that means system is shut down, so we cannot use the system. The other one is loss of data integrity. So it means the data is now manipulated, changed. Your NIC number is now changed. So whenever you want to withdraw your money or something with the bank, they asking your credit card, the identity card, but unfortunately the system identity card number and your real identity card number is too different. That because loss of data integrity, because of the attack, system level attack has happened to your data. Now data integrity is gone. So your PIN number is not matched with the credit card. Your any kind of maybe your name is not matching with the account number. So you can't access your account. You can't transfer your money. You can't withdraw your ATM cash. So that because the loss of data integrity. Now, when it comes to the organizational side, organizational impact is so high. System level impact is a little bit lower because it consider only a system. Organizations means the higher level that can be a result in a financial loss. Your company may be you lost money due to direct theft. Maybe some hacker came into the to the system and steal your company data, or maybe steal money directly. Recently happened to the NDB bank. So it's direct theft. Another one is costly operational fixes. That means whenever you find some mistake in the system, you have to pay high amount of money to that maybe the software company or maybe to antivirus companies to fix that one. It's a costly operational fixes. And also, if any damage happen to your the business, you have to uh, pay for the victims. That's called a compensation. You have to recover that money and give to your real customer. If something happened to between the transaction, you can't tell, we don't know what happened to your money. So as a bank or as a company, you have to repay that amount to the customer. So it's a victim compensation. And also there are legal fines. A central bank may be fine you. Some other international authorities may be fine your organization because you don't have proper security features. So these kind of financial losses can be possible in organization level. Next one is reputational damage. If something happened to your company, the entire industry will know about that one. That's a huge reputational damage. That kind of damage happened to the Cargill's bank last year or year before last. 2 terabyte of massive data breach happened in the Cargill's bank. Therefore, it's a reputational damage. It's very difficult to overcome such a reputational damage once it has happened. Next one is decreased productivity. Once something happened to the system slow down, system shut down, maybe some features of the system is not working. Therefore, staff lock out of the system. They can't do their daily operation. They can't do their daily duties. So decrease productivity due to these attacks. That's the organizational level impact. Finally, regulatory non-compliance. All the institutions, companies, banks, finance companies, or any kind of things, even an educational institute has some kind of regulatories to follow. We will learn what our regulator is. For the moment, think it as a set of rules to follow. So if those rules are not followed, it will be a legal or criminal problem. So you will be fined by the government, maybe you will be fined by some other institutes or relevant parties due to non-compliance. So that's organizational level impact. So I hope you got the idea about system level impact and the organizational level impact. Now, let's move impact of cyber security vulnerabilities in an organizational operation. So this is similar to the previous slide, but a little bit difference. Now we talk about organizational operations. First thing is financial losses. We discussed that one. Regulatory non-compliances also discussed. Reputational damage also discussed. The supply chain disruption. That means supply chain disruption means every company has suppliers, customers, transport suppliers, maybe manufacturers, different types of parties involved in their business. So once any attack or any kind of damage happen to the system and to the network, it will slow down or completely disrupt our supply chain. Let's think nothing happened to our company, but some kind of attack happened to our raw material supply. Now they cannot send us the raw materials. Because of that, we are in a trouble because we cannot start our productions. We cannot manufacture our products because our supplier has been hacked. So remember, supply chain disruptions is highly effective. Supply chains are highly sensitive. You can't tell my computer system is well protected. Yes, that's good, but until one of your suppliers get attacked, you are safe. If they are attacked, that means you also now in a threat. Why? Threat is not a security threat, but supply chain disruptions can be happen to you. Once they cannot send you the product or raw materials, you cannot sell it, you cannot manufacture something. So that's the supply chain disruption. Further, popular cyber scams in Sri Lanka. When we talk about Sri Lanka, there are lots of scams happening. The most common one is online loan scams. Maybe you also getting some SMSs or emails, weekend loans, 1 day loan, or quick loans within 3 hours kind of messages. That means online loans. Loans cannot be granted in that way. If someone giving a loan, that should under the rules and regulations of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. So in that case, these frauders, that the the companies acting, they are financial companies or any kind of banks and giving or lending monies to innocent people. So they create fake lending companies or maybe platforms, maybe software, and promising quick loans. Within 2 hours, you can get 100,000. Within 5 hours, you can get 1 million rupees. You can convert rupees to dollars within 1 or 2 hours. Kind of services. Those are fraud. Those are we call online scams. Those are very popular in Sri Lanka. Next one is unlawful pyramid schemes. Pyramid schemes are all the time bad. Remember that if anything called pyramid, it's bad. So what is pyramid? That means the top level is maybe 1 or 2 people. They get the entire benefit. The upper level, the lower levels, getting very low benefits. But they say they show you you can get high return within short expend. That means you can claim a high amount of gain by expending a few amount of rupees. Therefore, people like to engage with that one. Most of the time, the rural area people, those who don't know about these pyramid schemes, or sometimes they don't know about financial background of other companies, they believe what people telling. So these type of unlawful pyramids are another very popular scam in Sri Lanka. Next one is social media investment fraud. Scammers now promote their things using internet. That means especially social media, different types of social media platforms, maybe TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, or any kind of social media to promote their fraudulent investment schemes. High, low investment, high gain. Maybe some kind of plantations. You spend money on 100 plants. We keep the plants for yourself. After 20 years, we will give that much of money to you. So those are social media investment frauds. So that type of things cannot be done in this real world, because once you invested, it has a risk. But these people telling there's no risk, you will get very high gain. So how they do, they collect money from someone else and give to you. So you believe within 1 year I got this much of money. So that means this work. So you invest more and more. Your money is now taking and giving to someone else. Likewise, they exchange cash from one person to another. They exchange cash between people. So until few years, they can manipulate that one, and in a one place, it will collapse. That means they will collect the money and they will go away without informing any investors. So that's social media investment frauds. The last one is pig butchering. Pig butchering is a popular one. It comes with a fake relationship, maybe a love relationship, maybe business relationship, maybe corporate kind of relationship, any kind of relationship targeting cryptocurrency or forex investment. So you you get some people reaching to you saying trying to be a friend of you and introduce you to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is not a bad thing. Forex is not a bad thing, but it's bad the way these people introduce it to you and they manipulate your cash into their benefit. That's the bad thing. That's we call pig butchery. Don't think cryptocurrency, forex investment is bad. No, they are not bad. But these people get your money and invest on behalf of them, and they give sometimes control to you. Give the control to them because you don't know how to work with the cryptocurrency. Likewise, they scam you to get your money. So that's called the pig butchery. So these things are the popular scams in Sri Lanka. So let's move to another interesting area. That means importance of data privacy and implications on organizations and individuals. So data privacy, why data privacy is important? Now we know lots of possibilities that called the vulnerabilities can be happen to organization, and also different types of viruses, and also we call threats. So now let's talk about why we need data privacy. Let's define that one, the data privacy. So then only you can understand why you need these things. Okay, now what is data privacy? Data privacy means protect personal and sensitive information from unauthorized access. Protect personal and sensitive information from unauthorized access. If you ask the definition, this is the simplest definition can be given for the data privacy. Nothing else. This is the smallest, shortest, and the most accurate definition. It's a protecting personal data and also sensitive data. Personal data means your name, your age, your gender, your marital status, or anything personal to you is personal data. What is sensitive information? Sensitive information means the information or data, those should not known by someone else. Example, credit card PIN number, any other your personal bank account numbers, or maybe passwords. So those are sensitive information. But your name is not a sensitive information. Lots of people know your name. Your friends know. Even if someone want to go to the Facebook, can find your name. So name kind of things are personal information. Those are not sensitive. Sensitive means the hidden information you keep for yourself only. Maybe your PIN number, maybe ATM card number, or the ATM PIN, or any kind of personal things that you have called sensitive information. So what to do? You have to prevent or protect these things by unauthorized access. Authorized access can be happen. So if you allow your parents to unlock your phone, it's not data privacy violation because you gave them the password. Now they unlock your phone. But if someone else accessing your personal data, maybe the phone, that's unauthorized access, because if someone else you never allowed to access is accessing, means it's unauthorized access. Okay, now to protect that one, we should protect data privacy. We have to discuss about something individual privacy control. That means every person has right to control own data. I have right to control my data, my phone data, my laptop data, my mobile related any email, maybe any kind of thing personal to me, I have rights to control. Okay, so then if someone want to collect, maybe a bank want to collect your some data for account opening, So you have to specify data collection, what to collect, when to collect, what should not collect. Once the data is collected, what to do with that data, you can decide. And whether it's being shared or not, whether to share or not, you can decide. So because individual privacy is that you have the control of your data. Remember that you have control of your data. Okay, why data privacy is need for a person? It essential for protection from misuse and cyber threats. If you do not protect your personal data, you are vulnerable for misusers. Someone else can take your data and misuse. Someone else can take your pictures, can take your email addresses, credit card numbers, and steal your data, steal your money, and also misuse your information, your signatures, your email addresses, your pictures for some other bad purposes. So that's why we need data privacy. So another one is there are 6 critical reasons for any privacy. Why? These are the 6 critical reasons to have data privacy. First thing is protect information. Why we need data privacy as a law or any kind of policy? To protect personal information. The next one is or prevent loss or fraud happening to your data. That's why we need data privacy. If there's no data privacy, you will lose your data. The fraudulent people will do some frauds to you. So you are vulnerable to anything. We need data privacy because of these reasons. First thing is protection of our own data. Next one is prevent loss of frauds from frauds or losses of data. Next one, ensure compliances. Compliances, I spoke earlier. That means the rules and regulations to follow. As a company, as a single person, we have to follow these rules. We have to follow these compliances. So that's another critical reason for data privacy. You can't tell, I don't want anything, I don't have anything personal, I am very open person, so I don't want to be aligned with any compliances in this country. No. You have to be aligned with the country compliances. You can't tell that one. So you can't act like that. I don't have any data. I do anything whatever I want. No, you can't do that one. So there are compliances, rules, regulations to follow. That's another reason to have data privacy in a country, in a personal manner, in a world manner. Next one is build trust. To keep the trust between companies, keep trust between people, we need data privacy. If there's no privacy, you will not give your information, maybe to even your photo to a bank. Why? You don't know whether this picture will end up where. So you will sign, you will give your signature, you will give your thumbprint, everything to a bank. Why? They build a trust between you and the institute and the bank. So that means building trust is one of another reason for data privacy. Next one is prevent cyber threats. If we have proper data privacy, we can prevent possible cyber threats. That we learned 10 cyber threats. So we can protect ourselves, our company, our data if we have proper data security. That's the prevent cyber threats. Another important reason to have data privacy. Next one is protect freedom, prevent surveillance. Surveillance means we are being spied by so many things. So many things means software, cameras, CCTVs, sensors, everything. Even our mobile phone is spying on us. So protection from these things and protect our freedom is very important. So data privacy is again important to have self-freedom. Without this kind of data protection, we are not living in a free world. You can't say, I don't know, someone has taken my data, my photos, my numbers, and anything. So, unless we are protected by a law of data protection, we are not safe in this world. Even if you think I'm using a mobile phone, I'm protected. No, this mobile phone collect your data. You are not protected. You are not safe with this device. If you wear another device, that means if you wear a smart watch, that means another possibility, vulnerability is happen to you. It collects some type of another data. Mobile phone collects some other data. That device collects some other data. If you wear some another kind of device, it collects another data. Likewise, we are open. We don't have any freedom, real freedom. So to protect our human freedom, we need data protection. We will learn policies in later. So remember the real reasons behind the data privacy. So with these things, we now feel we need data privacy. Without data privacy, we cannot live. So now come to data privacy on organizations. The earlier ones are as an individual person. Now these are for the organization. As an organization, they have to follow set of rules. It's a legal requirement to follow those rules. They cannot tell we can't follow, we don't know, we have never heard these rules. No, they must know the rules and they have to follow. So we call the legal and regulatory compliances. They must follow these set of rules. Example, we will learn later, GDPR, CCPA, Sri Lanka's PDPA kind of things or kind of rules, regulations, policies have to be followed. That's one reason for companies to have data privacy. Another one is reputational damage. If any damages happen to their data, customers will exit from their business. Example is Cargill's bank incident. Data breaches happen, 2 terabyte data breaches happen. Now the reputational damage is there. So to prevent that kind of reputational damage, they have to follow data privacy policies. They have to think about the data privacy, protect their data. Next one is financial losses and business disruptions. If any data breaches happen, it definitely directly affect to their financials. They will lose data, they will lose their money. The correction is also cost. As I explained, correction is very expensive. And also customers will lose their trust with the company, and will customer word of mouth is very important. If they spread bad word of mouth, the reputation will go away. New customers will not think about this company, or will not think about this bank. So financial losses will be start happening. So remember, another thing is financial losses and business disruptions are possible. If we not think about data privacy, that's another implications that can happen to your business. Next one is increased cyber security threats. Unless we are with the proper policies, proper security tools, proper software, we are vulnerable for security threats. Any kind of threats, attacks can be happen if we do not think about data privacy. Weak policies, maybe some companies have weak policies. That means if any attack happen, company doesn't know what to do because they don't have a proper strong data protection policies. So if any ransom attack happen, they don't know how to act, how to protect their data. So now these type of weak policies will help hackers to attack your companies. So that's another thing that company should consider when it goes to the data privacy. So as a summary, we can say implications of data privacy on individuals is identity theft and financial frauds. So what is identity theft? Identity theft means your personal data, like maybe your face recognition, fingerprint, SSN. SSN means social security number, like NIC number. credit card details can be used to commit fraud. That means the stolen data from you can be used to show as the real customer. This was happened very recently in Sri Lanka. The scammers called individuals and got their details. The people who don't know about these scams, they're very rural area people don't know about these things, and they gave this information like credit card numbers, pin numbers, ATM card numbers, everything, their full names, NIC number, bank branch code, everything. So now they collect that data and call to the bank and ask him for money transfer. So bank itself don't know whether this is real user or the not. So they allowed the company, allowed for that scammers to transfer money. So those are called identity theft. Identity means your uniqueness is now stolen. As a person, you are unique. You have your face recognition, thumb, and also signature. These kind of things are unique to you. Now, if someone stole all this information and pretending him as you, that's identity theft. Next one is emotional and psychological stress. Data breaches cause harassment, blackmail, and cyberbullying. If someone's personal information like personal videos, personal photos are leaked, that can be used for blackmail that person, and it can be used for cyberbullying. What is cyberbullying? Someone else pictures are spreading here and there everywhere, and people bullying, people making jokes on him. So that's cyberbullying. So it emotionally attacks, psychologically attack that particular person who lost that data. So if someone's face is making as a joke and spreading here and there everywhere, that's a mentally stress for that particular person. So it's an emotional thing. So that can be later caused to what you call suicidal acts, or else maybe anxiety, depression kind of things, suiciding or kind of things can be happen, because that's how data privacy badly affect on individuals. Next one is loss of personal security and safety risk. Home addresses and phone numbers put individual people at risk. That means you, if someone knows your personal address, home address, and the times you are going away from home, coming back home, it's keep you open for risk. Why? The people who are tracking you can identify whether you are in home or not. They can steal your belongings by attacking the home, or maybe thefting inside the home, because these information are now leaked, means loss of personal security. So it causes safety risk. We don't know which people monitoring us. Okay, next one is misuse of information for advertising and tracking. Most of the time it's happened to everybody, including me. It's happening. Why? Different platforms, Facebook and different platforms collect our data, and they sell that data to third parties, and that third parties send us different types of emails, advertisements, and the promotional things, and university programs, lots of healthcare products, beauty related products, and loads of things. We never requested, we never ever visited that type of websites, but we are getting emails. That means they collect our data and sell it to someone else for money. That's how we get thousands of unwanted emails. So that's misuse of information for advertising and tracking. And also tracking, that means these phones, maybe if you talk with someone using WhatsApp, within few minutes or maybe within few hours, that person will be there in the Facebook suggestions. That because they track us. The same way, if you search something on the Facebook, the same product will be appear on again and again. If you search or if you talk about a product with your friend in a chat, maybe in a voice, that product will be appear in the Facebook, also in the Instagram. That because these platforms are connected, they share our information as well as they use that information to tracking us and do the advertising. The next section is strategies to mitigate. Now we know the problems. Now we want how to prevent that one. So next section of this chapter is written for strategies to discuss how to mitigate these type of possible attacks. Let's move to that. What is data protection? First of all, we should know data protection. We should know what is data protection. As a definition, it means data protection is a law designed to protect personal data. Data protection can be defined as a law designed to protect personal data. It's a law. If someone violates, he or she will be fined. So it's a law. Next one is empowers individuals to control data and prevent abuses. That's also empowered in the data protection laws. Individual empowerment. That means individual means the owner or any maybe a company or maybe a single person are empowered. That means given power to protect themselves by these type of attacks or threats or blackmailing or abusing or any kind of things. So they can prevent themselves by these bad behavior of scammers, hackers, or even from the society. So that's another thing that we can define as the data protection. Now, next one is restrain and shape the activities of companies and government. That means government and the companies are the people who collect our data. We should guard or prevent them, restrain them by using our data for all kind of activities they want. No, this data is ours. So we must have the power or the empowerment to protect our data from these people. A government, maybe company. So that's the protection, data protection definition. So it's a huge definition actually, but remember the content. So no, you will not be asked to write it in a single sentence, but get the idea of that one, that box. I mean this area, this box number A, and keep it in your mind because the definitions are not exactly needed, but you have to identify the key points of a definition and write in your own words. That's fine. Okay, go to the point B. The need for evolution. Massive data volumes and rapid technology growth is happening around us. So we cannot stop that one. Data volumes is highly, massively happening. That means every platform collect our data in a within a day, within an hour, within a year, in a massive amount. So we can't stop that one. When we use new platform, that means millions of our data we daily upload to that one. A new picture, a new text, new post means new data. So another one is existing laws are getting outdated. Now with the AI and robotics or kind of new technologies, we cannot use old laws. Those are outdated, so we have to update that one. That's another reason for evolution. Next one is framework must reflect a new data processing potential. So the existing frameworks means the way we should act. It's like a guideline. So the frameworks or the guidelines should be updated, or it must be reflect to see or show us the new changes, new potentials. So considering these three factors, we need to update or evaluate our existing data protection laws or the policies. Another one is obligations and enforcement. Strict obligations on processors. So obligations means we put some kind of limits, rules, regulations on data processors. Who are the data processors? Mainly companies, private sector or maybe public sector. However, these two kind of organizations, public organizations or the private organizations, are the one who process our data. So we should not allow them to do whatever they want with our data. So these data protection laws are again obligate them by doing anything they want. No, they can't do the data even for the government. They cannot use our personal data for anything. Don't think government is allowed to use our data to do anything. No, that's not allowed. So they have to get proper approvals as well. That because of these type of regulations in the data protection regulations. We will learn regulations in next few slides. Okay. Okay. Next, let's move for the data protection. Now, let's talk about how this data protection work. If you want to protect the data, there are few things that can be done. One thing is collection limitation. That means that's the very first entry point, that if you limit the data you give to someone, that's the main thing or the very important and the very first thing that you can do to protect your privacy. Okay, collection limitation. Anything should be collected should under the law. And also fair means, that means if a bank collect your data, there should be a fair reason for asking for that one. If they ask for your NIC, your mother's name, father's name, there should be a fair reason to that one. They cannot get all the personal details from you. And also the transparent manner. Whatever they get should be transparent to us. They should tell why we are taking this data, why what we are going to do with this data. So that's the transparency. So remember, the data collection is the first point that we can limit any organization from getting unwanted personal data. That's why bank or any kind of organization gets only few data from you. They do not ask anything. When you are opening a bank account, they don't ask you a blood group. That because that's not necessary for them to open a bank account. So remember that the collection limitation is the very first and the very important place to protect our data. That's one thing. Next thing is purpose specification. Purpose specification. That means the bank or that any government or private company should tell you why they are collecting this data. The purpose of collecting data before collecting the data, as well as after collecting, they should tell why they collected this data. Okay, that's the purpose specification. So any organization should tell why we are collecting this data. That's the purpose of collecting the data. Number 3, data minimization. When they collect data, the data collection should be minimized. That means only necessary data should be collected. Only adequate, only relevant, only limited data should be collected. Adequate, relevant, limited data should be collected. Not everything possible should not gather from the customer. Take an example, you go to open a bank account. They are asking you a grandparent's name, their blood group, their marriage certificate numbers. Are they really necessary for them? No. So data collection must be minimalized only for that particular purpose only. Adequate, relevant, limited to necessity. Understood? The fourth one is accuracy and completeness. That means when you give your data, you should give the proper up-to-date data. That means accurate and complete data. Example, you give your mobile number with 9 numbers. Now the bank want to call back you for something. They cannot call back because one digit is missing. So that means data is incomplete. That's also one of your good work. When you give some data to an institute, it should be complete, and data always should be accurate for that particular purpose. Otherwise, that company or maybe to you, both parties cannot use the data. Okay, that's one another important thing. Number 5 is security safeguard, protection from losses, unauthorized accesses, um, and distractions. Another thing is security safeguard. So it's very normal thing. Protection from losses, data losses, unauthorized access to your data. So these things should also be done, to protect our data. Okay, collection should be limited, purpose should be specified before collecting and after collecting, and also data, minimum data should be collected, and also the data should be complete and accurate for that particular job. Otherwise, it's useless. Finally, the security safeguard, that means the collected data should be protected from losses, any kind of losses, maybe internal damages, maybe external, maybe the natural disasters. Any kind of data cannot be happen. It should protect our data. The bank or that organization should protect our data. They cannot tell some hackers attacked, we don't know what happened to your data. Now your credit card number is uh, popular or the published on the internet. They can't tell that. So the protection of data is on their hand. They can't tell or easily escape from the security safeguards. Okay. Now, where we can put this security? Security can be put in different places. First level is, or the we can call the layer is technical layer. Technical layer means technology can be used to protect our data. Where? The first thing is encryption. I told you encryption is converting original data into some other format that no one else can understand except the original recipient. No one else can understand except the original recipient. So once the data is encrypted, it can read only by the real recipient only, because that real recipient knows how to decrypt. The opposite word is decrypt. Encrypt, decrypt the data. So that's a technical thing. Your ABCD normal alphabet is converted into some numbers. Now nobody knows these numbers, but only the relevant user or the recipient knows how to reconvert into the original one. So that's a technical thing. So it's a technical control. The next one is strong authentication, or we called MFA. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication. There's another one, two-factor authentication. 2FA. Number 2, F and A. 2, number 2, the number 2, and capital F, capital A, 2FA. That stands for two-factor authentication. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. So that means when you log into some system, maybe a office system, maybe a bank account, or maybe your mobile bank account, it doesn't allow you to access only using the password. That is the old way. Multi-factor means when you type the username password, it will pop up another identification in your mobile, or maybe to your laptop, or maybe to some other places. You have to accept that request as well. Example, you want to access your internet banking account. You go to your laptop and type your bank name and type the username password. Once you click that one, automatic message comes to your mobile phone. It's a maybe SMS. You have to find that OTP number or the SMS code and insert it into that password or the OTP box. So that's a multi-factor authentication to identify whether this is the real man or not, because password can be stolen, but different factors are combining means it's very difficult to steal these factors, all factors at once. Next one is patch management. Patch management means regularly updating our softwares to get up to date services, up to date protection, data protection. That's a technical control. If you do not update your Windows or your other kind of applications, there are vulnerabilities can be happen. We don't know whether it will happen today or tomorrow, but it's vulnerable for attacks. Next one is network separation and firewalls. Firewalls, I explained you, it's a software and hardware combination. That combination protect your internal computers, networks, and the software from external attacks, external visitors, external accesses. So that's the firewall. Now, what is network separation? Network separation means entire organization is not running in a single network. We separate network into different sectors, maybe guest, maybe top management in a different network, maybe finance department in a different network. Kind of different networks are breakdown in our entire big network. So if any attack happen, that one part will be attacked only, not the entire network. Let's say HR related network area is attacked. So it's not a problem for the other department to do their work. So until that IT people will resolve that problem, other people can safely work with them, with their data. So that's network separation. Next one is security tools. So implementing or installing security tools like antivirus, anti-malware, and intrusion detection systems like IDS, intrusion detection systems are software. They are capable to identify unauthorized accesses, different types of attacks like DOS attacks. If something continuously happen, unusually happen, it detect automatically. So that type of systems we call IDS, intrusion detection. So that kind of tools must be installed or implemented in our organizations to prevent our data. So all these possibilities or the things are technical controls. Technical controls. We go to the next one, that is layer two. Layer two is Layer two is administrative control. Administrative controls are regular risk assessment. That means daily or regularly we check our systems for possible vulnerabilities or maybe any kind of historical information like log reading, logbooks reading, system log reading, kind of things to identify whether something has happened. That's regular risk management. So it's an administrative kind of thing. It's not a technical thing. It's administrative. The next one is employee training. It's also administrative because we have to train the people, educate our staff people about the phishing attacks, DOS attacks, not to click on all the things you get, not to get in all with scams or kind of thing. So that's an employee training. Training the staff is a very good thing. It comes under administrative because they are the they will be we will be one day internal internal what's called internal threat. Untrained user or untrained employee can be the internal threat. So employee training is very important. The third one is incident response planning. Once anything happened, maybe you found there's an attack, what to do? To whom we should inform? What activities we should do? What are the things we should stop? What are the things we should start? How to log these things? How to protect future attacks? What should we do? Very basically. So that's the called incident response planning. So that also administrative control. Access control policies is another one. It means you enforce job role based access to employees. HR department allowed only to see HR related information. Finance allowed only to the finance. Even in the finance department, managers can see these data, executives can read only this data. So that kind of access control policies must be implemented. Based on the access control policies, IT people can grant their access controls, access. So once they click on some unwanted file, or unauthorized file, they will be stopped by the system. So that basically everybody cannot do anything, everything in the system. You can do only allowed activities inside the system. That's the access control policy. Two more things are there in the below. Those are not in a proposed big boxes. That means collaborate with third party security experts. So it's also administrative. That means if you don't have proper knowledge and the proper skills or people with your company, you have to collaborate with third-party security experts, maybe like software, different software companies, or maybe antivirus software companies, or maybe any kind of security advisors. So you have to be collaborate with them to get their proper service. That's layer two, again, administrative type of activity. Next one is manage security relationship with suppliers and partners. I explained that one. You cannot tell my computer system is well protected. We have antivirus, we have firewalls. But if one thing happened to your supplier or maybe to any partner of your business, you will be at risk. Therefore, you have to manage security relationship with all the suppliers, all the partners of your business. You cannot stay alone because your suppliers are at risk means you will be also in a risk in the business. So those are the administrative controls. Now, let's move to the physical controls. Physical controls are very, very simple, but very important. Why? We can protect all the things from system or technically or whatever, but an intruder or even a very simple thief can come into our IT department and steal our computer. What else? All the security softwares are there. Everything is up to date. All patches are executed, but computer is now stolen. So remember, physical controls also very, very important. We have to back up our data and also we must have a disaster recovery plan. That means physically we should isolate our backup from the original place. That means you take the backup of the original data and you should not keep it next to the computer. You should take away it from that premises, maybe from the building, or keep away from that one. For the banks, they are not allowed to keep their the data backup even next to the bank, even inside the Colombo area. So they have to take backups into some different geographically different area. So backup and disaster recovery plans means that once something happened, how we can control our data or restore our data. That's the thing. So next one is surveillance and monitoring. That means installing cameras, sensors, thermosensors, humidity sensors, or any kind of water level sensors, or different things to protect that data and monitor the area from people, maybe from animals, from humidity. So sensors are important, cameras are important to physically guard that area, physically monitor that area. Next one is restricted facility access. We can use biometric. What are the biometrics? Face recognition, fingerprint, retina scan in the eye. So those are the biometrics. So we can use biometrics to unlock the doors or the access into that particular areas. So that's again very important in the physical controls. So these are the three possible areas that we can implement our access the security. Next, important area we are going to talk is compliances. So far, we discussed so many things. We discussed some importance of compliances, but we didn't talk about that much or in a proper way. So let's move to the compliances. Importance of compliances with regulations. Why these compliances are important for all the companies? One thing is adhering to local regulation. When we are doing a business as a organization or maybe as a single person, there are rules to follow. We have to follow those rules. Example, PDPA. We will learn that PDPA is one rule. Computer Crime Act is another rule. So we have to follow or compliance according to these things. Next one is aligning with international regulation. Not only Sri Lankan things, we have to focus or we have to align with the international laws and regulation. That's another one. Examples is GDPR and the ISO 27001. So those are international regulations. In Sri Lankan regulations, those we call local regulations are there. Inside Sri Lanka, we have to follow those set of rules and regulations. As well as if we are working with some foreign countries, we have to follow the international rules. Another one is strengthening cybersecurity posture. Once we follow these regulations, policies and regulations, and the rules, it automatically strengthening our cybersecurity. Why? We follow that rules means we are in a particular good standard. So automatically we will be protected by these attacks or anything because we have to implement these rules. According to the rules, we need to install software. We need to get some skilled people as technicians. So we will have automatically proper proper strong or strengthening cybersecurity posture in our organization. Next one is building trust and reputation. Once we follow these regulations and everything, it will make a trust between us and our business partners, maybe clients, maybe other suppliers, maybe our our any kind of business parties. The trust will be increased. So, example, if we say we are GDPR followed company, that will be a reason to create the trust in the Europe Union because GDPR is Europe Union standard. So if we follow that standard, that means their trust with us is high. Next one is competitive advantage in the digital economy. So once we follow these rules, it will give us the competitive advantages. Example, in Sri Lanka, if our product has SLS certification, we will get more customers because it's a standard. So we are doing our business according to the standards. That means that. So the same way, standard compliance like GDPR or ISO 27001 will give us competitive advantage. Why? If our competitors do not have such certification or the standards for the regulations, we have that means we have automatically we will have a competitive advantage. So the sixth point is protect sensitive data. These regulations guide us how to safeguard our customer data, employee data, and business information. So, according to the regulations, we have to protect sensitive information. Therefore, we know how to protect the data according to the rules and regulations because we agree to follow them. We agree to do the regulations. That means we protect our data the way they are guiding us. The seventh point is mitigate financial losses. Once we do all these things, it automatically reduces our cost for data breaches. Why? The regulated data very rarely be caused to data breaches. once we follow the regulations, there is no space for data stealers or the hackers to get our data. So we will not be fined by the international companies. We will not be fined by the government or any other authority because of non-following the regulations. Why? We follow the regulations means we are protecting our data. Therefore, financial losses are minimum. The possibility of having financial loss is 99% zero. Last one is maintain business continuity. Ensuring operational resilience in cyber incident. That means if some attack happen, however something happen, let's assume any way something happened to our data, still we know how to continue the business because according to the regulation, we keep our data backups. According to that one, we can restore our data so we can execute the business. Until we recover that attacked network or the area, we can continue this business. So that kind of things are eight. So very important eight factors are there to have uh, the, the fair reasons to have regulations in our organization. So remember these 8 points. Those are very, very important. If you ask in exam, why an organization want to follow regulations or work with compliances, these are the answers. Okay, next point is consequences of non-compliances. Now think there is a company, they don't want to follow these rules. I don't want to follow these rules because we are a small company. We don't think about our customer data. So basically, we don't live according to the compliance rules. What will happen? First thing is legal penalties and fines. Government can fine them, central bank or whatever the regulatory authority can fine them. That's the legal penalties. That's one thing that can be happen to that type of companies. Because according to the Data Protection Authority, DPA, they can fine that particular company for being not compliant for the PDPA. So that's legal penalty. Another one is financial losses. Because of that not following those rules and regulations, they do the business whatever they want. They don't use strong password. They don't know about viruses. They don't know about antivirus protection. They don't install patches because they work what the way they want. Now, if any attack happen, it will financially hit on their company. So data breaches, ransomware, online scams can be happen. So non-compliance companies will increase the risk of being attacked. Therefore, the cost that they have to bear if something happened to the company or to the systems or to the software systems or networks, they have to get a financial loss. Third one is reputational damage. If the companies doesn't follow any regulations, it definitely will vulnerable for any kind of attacks. If any attack happen, that's a reputational damage and loss of trust. Why? People will not trust their business anymore because the data privacy is not there. Why they do not? Why? The reason is they do not follow the regulations. Next one, number 4, operational disruption. Attacks can be delay their businesses. Attack can be destroy their data. Integrity can be damaged. Data accuracy will be gone. So operational disruption is definitely possible. The suppliers cannot deliver the data. You cannot receive data because the system is not available. You can't give your services to your customers. Why? The system is not available. So many things are possible. So finally, operational disruptions is possible. Next one, number 5, lawsuits and legal actions. Customer may sue for negligence in data protection. So if you lose the customer data or let customer data breaches to happen, they can go in front of the law and get the lawsuits against your company. That's another consequence that can be happen due to non-compliances. Number 6 is increased cybersecurity vulnerability. That also we discussed earlier, that because no compliances means there are much more places open for hackers to come in. So it's increased cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Number 7 is global trade restrictions, loss of business, uh, loss of business opportunities. Example, GDPR. If you don't follow GDPR, you can't work with European companies. So you are blocking yourself by entering international market. That's another consequence, bad consequence. Next one is PCI DSS. We will learn what is PCI DSS in the next page. Okay, let's move to the next one without discussing the PCI DSS. Okay, there are 5 global security standards. We will learn first 3 here. The remaining 2 will be in the next slide. First standard is ISO 27001. It's about information security. It's a globally recognized standard for managing data security risk. Remember that one, ISO standards for ISO 27001 stands for information security. Okay, it has a best practices. Best practices means what are the best way to resolve problems. Those are called best practices. So it has a compliances, it has to renew their certifications. Annually, you have to do audits and get their ISO standard certifications, kind of things are there. So remember, just only the name is required. ISO 27001 is a world cyber security standard. One cyber security standard. Another one is called NIST, NIST. It's came from the USA, premier US standards now utilized by globally. It has five components: identity, protection, detection, respond. Another one is there. It's in your book. Sorry, it was not captured here. It's meaning like identity. So remember, these 5 things are the areas NIST focus on. ISO is different, NIST is different. Next one is GDPR. GDPR, Comprehensive Europe Union. EU means Europa Union. Data protection law. So when we work with European company, technically we can share their data with the system to system. But we must follow the GDPR data protection framework and the standards. So that's specifically for the Europe Union only. So when you work with Europe Union company, we have to follow as an organization or as an individual, we have to agree to that. So I'm working for that kind of the European company. So I have signed that GDPR agreements. So that's how I work with the region. So next 2 is PCI DSS. I missed that one in that page. I told you to talk here. Now it's the time. PCI DSS means payment card security standards. If we do a payment from credit card or debit card or any type of cards, payment card, we need to be followed these standards. It ensures secure cardholder transmission and processing and data protection, and everything is guaranteed under this security framework. So remember, PCI DSS is for online card payments. Last one is COBIT. COBIT is a governance framework. Governance framework means it always works with something else. That means most of the time it works for ISO implementation and the NIST implementation. So for an example, if a company want to implement ISO 27001 standards to their company, they use COBIT framework or governance to implement that. So these are not this is not very difficult to explain using one slide and also to the students level like AAT. So just for the moment, understand there is something called COBIT. It's a standard, worldwide standard. It cannot work alone. It always work with ISO 20001 or NIST. For an example, if a company want to implement means follow NIST or ISO standards. Implement means if they want to follow, if they want to act, do the business according to the NIST or ISO standards, we call them they are going to implement ISO or NIST. In such case, that company have to get the or follow the COBIT framework. It's a framework, it's a supportive guidelines to how to implement ISO, how to implement NIST. Likewise, get that idea. That's enough. Otherwise, those are very complex, but we have to be limited in your knowledge area. Next one is international compliances, agree and agreements adopted by Sri Lanka. There are international laws, regulations agreed by Sri Lanka. The first one is Budapest Convention on Cybercrime. Budapest is a city. So in that city, there was a cybercrime conversation, we call convention. Sri Lanka also agreed to follow that. So that's the first thing, we call it Budapest Convention on Cybercrime. Next one is APSERT. APSERT stands for Asia Pacific Computer Emergency Response Team. APSERT is another one. Sri Lanka also agreed to that one. It's a regional collaboration to combat across border cyber threats. Asia Pacific region is the main focus area. If any kind of cyber attack or cyber combat happening, we will be joining with them. That's the agreement. Third one is Commonwealth Cyber Declaration. Commonwealth means the countries who got freedom from the British. Commonwealth countries means the countries who got the freedom from the British Empire. So these Commonwealth countries together created some agreement we called Commonwealth Cyber Declaration. That means, according to that one, if any cyber threat or incident happen across these Commonwealth countries, they will work together to overcome that issue. So remember the difference between Budapest Convention on Cyber Crimes is international one. We are a part of that. This one, the second one is absurd. It's for the Asia Pacific. We are also included in that one. Another one is their Commonwealth. It's for all the countries who got the freedom from the British. So those countries together declared something called Commonwealth Cyber Declaration. So if some cyber attack or any kind of security threat happened across all the Commonwealth countries, especially the Commonwealth countries only, they together work to overcome the problem. Here, in the second one, it's only for the Asia Pacific. Commonwealth countries are everywhere. Asia Pacific is some region. So the next one is regulations in Sri Lanka. There are a lot of regulations in Sri Lanka. Let's go one by one. First one and the most important and the most popular one is Intellectual Property Act. Intellectual Property Act is very popular. It was created in Act in 2003. Previously, another act was 1979. Intellectual Property Act was there. It was replaced by this 2003 new one. Main objective is to protect intellectual properties, patents, give trademarks, trade names, and etc. That means basically protect people's intellectual properties. Singers, what's called the uh, movie, the directors and everybody. If something belongs to intellectual property, that will be covered and protected by this 2003 Intellectual Property Act. Next one, there's an institute, or we call a NIPO office, NIPO, NIPO. NIPO office is the authority or the place to execute that act. Remember, I will tell you how to remember these acts. Okay, for the moment, remember that there's an institute or the authority called NIPO. It's an office actually. Every act must be implemented in the society. To implement, we need office. Sometimes we call authority, sometimes we call office. However, we need a place to execute these rules. So NIPO is the designated office to execute Intellectual Property Act. If someone want to complain about his or her intellectual property violation, he has to go to the NIPO office because NIPO is the only authorized place to have authority to execute that Intellectual Property Act in Sri Lanka. Next one is Information and Communication Technology Act. That was established in 2003. This also need the institute. As earlier one, NIPO, this also need the institute. That institute is called ICTA. You may sometimes heard that one, ICTA, ICTA. ICTA is created or established in 2003 based on that act. So earlier there was something called Syntech. Syntech was uh, shut down and ICTA was established on behalf of the uh, Syntech activities. So ICTA is doing a huge role in Sri Lanka with the government. ICTA is the only organization, or very basically you can think IT department of the government. So they act like that, IT department of the Sri Lankan government. So they execute some programs like e-Sri Lanka. We will learn what is e-Sri Lanka in next slide. So e-Sri Lanka is completely run by this ICTA office. So what is e-Sri Lanka? E-Sri Lanka is a project. It formulated in 2002 and between 2002 to 2005. ICTA is the place that conduct that operation, that project. The aim is to implement lot of technology-based services all over the government. Example, e-ticketing, online reservations, online railway ticket, again online car renewal, online license application, online visa kind of things. So lot of government services. If it's going with the e-service, then that's the job of e-Sri Lanka development project. So authorized entity to do that one is ICTA. Next one is Payment and Settlement Systems Act. This is also established in very recently. In 2005, it was established, but amended in 2021 recently. So it regulate and supervise, monitor payment and clearing. Basically, look at the name. It says payment and settlement. If something related to the payments and settlements, this is the act to regulate on that. The next act is Electronic Transaction Act. It was established in 2006 and also mm, uh, it acts on the electronic transactions. So we got a question. Let's see. Will there be webinars conducted for the other subjects as a no? According to my knowledge, no. This one was done because of two reasons. One thing is this cybersecurity is a new area included into that book. Another reason is I am the one who wrote this book, this 2025 to 30 syllabus, your digital transformation and information systems book was written by me. So that's why we are conducting that one. So institute requested me to do a special thing. Otherwise, I am not a lecturer for this subject. So they requested me to do that one. So I don't think other subjects will have the same. So this is something technical, something new to your syllabus. That's why we are having this special webinar. So come back to the lesson. Electronic Transaction Act. So by looking at the name, we can feel that it's about electronic transactions. So it brought into operation in 2007. It facilitates domestic and international e-commerce payments. Okay, it remove legal barriers between different countries, especially on transferring money between. Can you please suggest them to do BLA seminar class? I can't suggest that one because that you have to suggest. I'm also an external person to AAT Institute. Based on their request, I do this webinar. So I'm helpless in that way, that case, because I can't request anything because they have to decide. You can decide, you can request as students. So it's better you all together, if you want, you can request. So uh, I'm sorry, really sorry about that one. I can't do anything in that case. Okay, let's focus on the lesson. Electronic Transaction Act. So basically, look at the name and get the meaning. That's enough for you. Electronic Transaction Acts for electronic, assisting the electronic transaction. So the previous, if you go to the previous one, it's different. Remember that. The previous one was payment and settlement. This one was electronic transaction. Two different things. Okay, read the content carefully and identify. I will tell how to remember these things later. So for the moment, just get the idea. Another question, please. Can you tell them? Students asked about BLA webinar. Yeah, I can tell them. That's only thing I can do. I can tell that you all students request a webinar for BLA. That I can do. I will do that on behalf of you. So that's the thing only I can do. I will do that, I'm sure. Okay, next. Next act is, so again we get another question. Sir, are this act compulsory to be learned? Yes. Yes. Don't worry, but don't worry. These are similar. I will tell how to remember. Don't worry. Let's finish these acts and later on we can find out. Once you see the question, you will get an idea what to do, what to remember. Don't worry. These are not much difficult. Okay. There are a lot of laws. I know that one, but we are not going much more details. That means we should know, we want to know only a very limited information about that. That's very much enough. Okay, let's move to the next one. That means payment device, payment devices fraud act. Payment devices fraud act means it prevents possession and use of unauthorized and counterfeit payment devices. Very important. Prevent possession and use of unauthorized. Unauthorized. So if you go to a shop, they have that card payment machine. All these devices are under license of central bank. issued by a different bank, but under the license of central bank. That means you cannot buy some payment device from some other country and keep for your purpose. No, those are unauthorized devices. So these payment device fraud act is to protect that type of devices, prevent people getting caught into cheaters, scammers, for those who are using that type of unauthorized devices. So next rule is Computer Crime Act. Computer Crime Act is to identify computer crimes and stipulate investigation and enforcement procedures. So I created these slides as a short note. So I will distribute these slides after the lesson. I will give to the institute, they will distribute to you. So read these things. Okay, I created all these using AI. So these are not just Photoshop or something created using AI. Or entire presentation is created using AI. So it summarized the content into one slide. So if we think about the Computer Crime Act, the what you want to know is that is here. No need to go to the book and read again. This is very much enough. So, Computer Crime Act identify computer crimes and stipulate investigation. Criminalize unauthorized access. That means if unauthorized access happened, it will be criminalized. That means it will be identified as a criminal activity, and the people who engaged will be fined, will be taken in front of the law. So these things are covered in the computer crime. In singular, no, in again called cyber. Uh, yeah, in single it's called cyber aparad panatha. So it deals with unauthorized use of computers. Okay, the next one is right to information. This is a very popular one. Recently came in. Recently means now it's 10 years in 2016. That government uh, created something called right to information. That means people can get information about government officers, government institutions, even for the ministers, if they want to know about their salaries and everything. Uh, Sir, you can ask, can you ask for a BMA? Yes, I will ask BLA and BMA. Okay. Will this part will be definitely come to the paper? That I cannot tell because I am not creating the paper. But there is a chance. Why? This part is new to your syllabus. Cyber security and compliances part is new to your syllabus. Therefore, there's a chance to, for the first time, there's a chance to get some questions. There's a pilot paper. I will discuss that after this theory part. There are questions. So once you do the questions with me, you can identify, you can learn how far they are expecting. That pilot paper doesn't create by me. So we can get to know how extent they are expecting from us. So don't worry, I will teach you how to identify the how to properly identify the question, what they are really expecting from us, and how to answer in a particular and proper way. So don't worry, I will teach that one too. Okay, next one, right to information. Right to information means people have right to know information about government. The things like even the salary of a minister can be getting to know if you ask. So that's the Right to Information Act. The okay. 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 Next one is Electronic Transaction Act, amended in 2017. It recognizes and facilitate electronic contracts, data messages, and electronic documents. Very basically, this act covers the data security. That means electronic transaction, electronically transfer your messages, contracts, everything will be covered by this Electronic Transaction Act. It facilitates governments to keep their information in secure places. Like maybe now, government departments are now getting digitalized. That means they install new systems, they convert their manual works into electronic or computerized systems. So in that case, all these activities are covered by Electronic Transaction Act. So basically, that's enough for your knowledge. And read these things. We don't have much time to go deeper and deeper. These acts are very complex. Honestly, acts are very complex, but for your level, we need you to only know these are available and to identify high level uh, high level knowledge to identify these things separately. That's enough. You should not be mixed Electronic Transaction Act with someone else. So you should have a clear idea about what is Electronic Transaction Act, what is Intellectual Property Act, like that. We will not go deeper and deeper. Which year it was introduced, which year it was amended. That will not never ask. Don't worry. We will do a question. I will tell you. Okay, don't worry. The next one, Personal Data Protection Act, that's for protecting personal data. Let's see, Sri Lanka's first comprehensive data protection law, it's modeled after Europe Union's GDPR. So looking at the GDPR, Sri Lanka created something called Personal Data Protection Act. We call PDPA. You remember that PDPA, the term PDPA was in our very first slides. I didn't tell you that. Okay, but PDPA was there. So now PDPA is like a copy of GDPR to protect people's personal data. Remember, personal data protection. So always look at this name. I will tell you to remember that. Look at the name. Name itself give you the definition. Okay, later the other additional informations are actually are really additional. If you can identify the difference between the name, you are 80% done. So some informations only required. So I think that's all. Yeah, that's all about the acts. And this one is very important. Remember this one. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka. How Central Bank behaves with these acts. So come to this one. There's an institute called Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team. We called CERT. Do you remember that APCERT, AP CERT? APCERT for Asia Pacific Computer Emergency Readiness Team. AP CERT, APCERT. This one is CERT, Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team. So CERT is the institute. They investigate and respond to any kind of cyber attacks. Maybe in a private sector, maybe in public sector. Whether the sector is private or public, they help to respond for any kind of cyber attacks. Also, they raise the awareness. They teach the companies, they do awareness programs, training programs for the organizations to keep organizations up to date about the international regulations and the cyber attacks kind of things. So CERT is under operating under Central Bank of Sri Lanka. And also the next one, uh, Data Protection Authority. Oh, it's a DPA. DPA established in under the PDPA. You remember that the previous one, PDPA Act. It established in 2022. So it do monitoring compliances. That means whether companies are following the compliances or not will be monitored by DPA. And also they conduct investigations if any breaches, data breaches or any cyber attacks happen. They conduct investigations. It's also under the control of Central Bank of Sri Lanka. And also they issue fines. If some bad things happen due to a mistake or negligence of a company, they do fining. They do fining as well. Okay. So these two institutes are under central bank, but they are doing totally different activities, totally different areas. This one is focused on cyber attacks and cyber related things. This is focused on data protection. That's the main difference between these two. Okay. So now we are coming to a question and answer. Before that, I want to tell you something. Now, after this lesson, you go to these slides and take a A4 sheet or something, anything you like, draw a little chart and write down these names, this one, that one, likewise, all these names from here. Yes, regulations in Sri Lanka. Okay, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. Yes, 10. So 10 columns or whatever, write down these things and highlight common things. I will tell one or two common things. That means all these acts cannot execute itself. Act is something, it's written in a book. So we must have authority, organization, office to execute that one. That's a common thing. So different names. Sometimes it's called NIPO, sometimes called CERT, sometimes we called ICTA, kind of organization, different names, but organizations with human who execute this act. So likewise, you will find the common similarities between these 10 acts. Highlight them. So then you can easily apply once the act is asked, these things are common. So nothing to worry. Just write down those. So that's how you have to remember that. Okay. So now come to questions and answers. This pilot paper is there. You can download it from the Double DTI site. Go to examinations. Under pilot papers in the level 2, you can see digital transformation and information system. This topic, this one. So there, in the pilot paper, I found few questions. One is 1.4. Read the question with me. Which one of the following legal regulation is primarily concerned with personal data protection in Sri Lanka? Read again. Which one of the following legal regulation is primarily concerned with what? Personal data protection in Sri Lanka. Okay. Now go to the answers. Electronic Transaction Act number 19 of 2006. Now, don't worry about this kind of idiotic things like Electronic Data Transaction Act 19 or 20 or 18 or 21. I can't remember. Don't worry. They will not lie on that numbers. And also you don't know whether it's 2006 or 7 or 8 or amended or not. No, don't worry. We don't want you to remember these years, act number, amended year, nothing. Only the name and the main purpose of that is very much enough. So now the question is primary concerning with personal data protection. Personal data protection is not talking in electronic data transaction. It's about electronic transactions. Look at the name. Do you remember? I told you to look at the name carefully. Now go to the second one, Personal Data Protection Act. Yes, that must be. Why? It's talking about the personal data protection. Don't worry about the 2022 and Act number 9. Don't worry about that. Just take the name. Name itself has the answer. Third one, Computer Crime Act. Yes, that's about computer crime. Here we are asking about personal data protection. So that's not the answer. Online safety is about online safety, not the personal data. So the answer will be personal data protection. So now think, you just listen to me and came to the questions. Even though you just came, you can answer that question and get the marks. So don't think this act section of the lesson is very, very difficult. No, not difficult. These are for your knowledge purpose. Okay. Don't think too much about these act. Do not worry. Just have a table and compare these things. That's enough. Try to understand a little bit. That's enough. Okay. Oh, now come to the 1.9. Consider the following factors in relating to cyber security: phishing, ransomware, cyber debugging. Okay. Of the above, common cyber security threats to an organization are. What are the common cyber security threats? Phishing is a cybersecurity threat. Yes. Ransomware is a threat. Yes. There were 10. Remember that? There were 10. Phishing, ransomware was two of them. Okay. System debugging. Debugging was not there, but what is system debugging? System debugging means correcting an issue. If we correct some issue in a system, we call it debugging. Debugging means correcting an issue in a system. So it's not a cyber security. So the answer is A, B. So look at answer. Yes, answer 1 is A and B. B and C, no. Ransomware is a threat, cyber security threat, yes. But system debugging is not a threat. It's a error correction process. Above all is not the answer. A and C is also not the answer. C only answer is A and B. So phishing and ransomware are the answers. Okay, let's move to the next question. 1.1 and 1.15. We have to tell true or false. Read the first one, 1.11. The adoption of fintech can increase an organization's vulnerability to cybersecurity threats, requiring to implement stronger data protection measures. Do you understand the question? Okay, we get the question. Let's check the question first. Okay. Yeah, Fatima gave the answer true. Let's see. Read the question again. The adoption of fintech. What is fintech? Do you know what is fintech? Fintech means finance and technology. Finance plus technology means fintech. So adopting of fintech means very basically you are installing new software, financial systems and everything can increase the organization's vulnerability to cyber security threats. Can it be? Yes. More system means more open ports, more vulnerabilities, more patch requirements, basically more vulnerabilities. So, in that case, we require to implement stronger data protection measures. Yes or no? Yes, we must have. Otherwise, these systems will open unwanted gates to the people. Okay, another question, sir. Will you be able to conduct revision session for other lessons too? No, that because the institute itself asked me to conduct this one. I'm really sorry because how can I do that one? Because of I am the author of this book, 2025 and 30. They called me to conduct this session. That's how I was involved. Otherwise, I am not doing double AT lectures even. Okay, I did lectures few years ago, but now I am not doing. But they request me to write the book. So I wrote the book. Therefore, they called me to conduct this special webinar for this chapter because this chapter is a totally new one. Another one is the I can't remember chapter 6 or I can't remember anyway. So now it's 1.5 years ago I wrote this book. Anyway, so I will not be able to conduct a revision class for this one. Yeah, really sorry. Okay, let's move to the next question, 1.15. International data protection regulations often require organizations to appoint data protection officer, DPO, to oversee compliance. Okay, read again. International data protection regulations often require organization to appoint data protection officer to oversee compliances. Yes, the reason is these regulations tell to appoint a person. True. Answer is true. Because if there is a person to oversee, he will take the responsibility and oversee all the compliances in that organization. If there's no such person, nobody will take the responsibility. Everybody do whatever they want. So the answer is true. We must have a person. Okay, let's go to the another question. Question number 3. Smart Books, a small enterprise offering digital accounting services, recently experienced a phishing attack that disrupted its communication with clients. The company is now reviewing its cyber security data and data privacy measures to prevent such issues in future. Smart Books is a company. They got a phishing attack. Now they are reviewing their cyber security policy and data privacy measures to prevent such thing happen in future. Okay, you are required to identify four common cyber security threats. Identify doesn't mean write, describe. Okay, identify means just write the name. Just write the name. Common cybersecurity threats other than phishing attack. Phishing, you can't write again phishing attack because it's in the question. So other than phishing attack, write any four. We learned 10. So these are the answers. Malware, ransomware, DOS attack, man in the middle, SQL injection, zero day, insider, advanced persistent attack, threats, social engineering. So except phishing, there are 9 more. So you can write anything, any four. Okay, that's the answer. You will get 4 marks. So very simple. Don't worry about the papers. Don't worry about cyber security and the acts. So questions are simple. Next one, explain, explain, read. Here, identify. Identify means you just want to write the name. Malware, phishing, that's enough. No need to explain. Here in the question number 2, explain. Explain means you have to explain. Okay, you have to describe it. 3 practical strategies that smart books can implement to mitigate cybersecurity risk. To mitigate cybersecurity risk, what are the things that they can do? So there are lots. I think we discussed about 8. Among them, you can find at least 3. Use strong password and implement multi-factor authentication. Remember that? So I put that answer here to show you how to limit your answer. If it say explain, you don't want to write half a page big answer. One A4 sheet answer. No need to worry about that much of lengthy answer. Explain means that kind of short answer is enough. Use strong password and implementation multi-factor authentication. That's your answer. You explain it as use strong password is easy to remember and difficult to guess. Adds a second layer of security beyond password, SMS code, authenticator, apps like that. This is very short, but I would like if you can explain a little bit more. It's like use strong password. Do not limit your password when you are writing. Write in very simple English. A password must have capital letters, simple letters, numbers, any kind of symbols, and the length should be at least 8 characters. So it will create a strong password. So a strong password will not be vulnerable for any kind of attacks. That's enough. If that's the answer, you said strong passwords are not vulnerable. And also you said the characteristic of a strong password. So that's how you should write your proper answer. if you want to write about MFA, you can tell having just the username password is very riskier. Therefore, implement MFA, multi-factor authentication, will give us or give that organization or the smart books company additional layer of security. Once the password is entered, the system will prompt or system will request for another passcode or maybe OTP in different device or the secondary authentication. So that's a additional security layer. So that's much very enough. I explained that one, but when you write the answer, you can write in your own English, simple English, short sentences. Remember, combined very lengthy sentences will not get more marks. Okay, don't think so. Use simple English. Use short sentences. Active voice. Do not worry about passive voice. No need to write using passive voice. Just use simple English. Okay, next one. Conduct employee awareness training. So look at this answer. Educate staff on identifying phishing emails, safe browsing, secure data handling. Due to rapid development of changes in the digital technology, better to add cyber security to annual training plans matrix. So it's an additional thing. How the first sentence is very enough for your answer. Conduct employee awareness training means give knowledge to your staff. So you can say phishing, how to identify phishing attacks, phishing emails, how to do safe browsing, how to avoid clicking on unwanted or unknown email links, kind of information, and also uh, teach them to lock the computers when they are leaving. Even that kind of things can be included in your answer. And remember, when you write this answer in this point, write down these trainings will prevent them by doing unwanted exposure of the system to the threats. That's the entire purpose. So write like that. Then you will conclude the proper answer. Okay. So let's move to the next one. This question is created by me. A company called Quick Cash. I assume if you get a very, uh, let's say, complex or hard questions, that will be like this. Okay, not harder than this. Read the question. The case of Quick Cash app. A company called Quick Cash create an app that lets people send money to each other's bank account instantly. It's a mobile app transferring between bank to bank. They start operating without asking the Central Bank of Sri Lanka for permission. Okay. Say they are saying we are just an app, not a bank. One day the app crashes. Money disappears from 500 users' accounts and it never arrives at the destination bank. Quick Cash tells the angry users, read our terms and conditions. We are not responsible for technical glitches. Okay, got the scenario? Okay, now come to this 1.1. Can they just say, we aren't a bank? According to the Payment and Settlement System Act. See, the name is given. Payment and Settlement System Act. Act name is given here. Does a company need permission from central bank if they are moving money between banks accounts, even if they call themselves as a tech company? So now understand the question. They are saying they say we are a tech company, not a bank. But according to the Payment and Settlement Act, can a company say that? That's the first question. Okay. The next one. Are they allowed to skip responsibility? Can the company use disclaimer in their app to avoid fixing the lost money? Or does the law force them to ensure the money transfer is completed correctly? 3. What the central bank can do? If the central bank finds out about this, what power do they have to stop quick cash from operating? Okay, you got the 3 points. Let's move to the answers. The first one is regulation. No, they cannot tell. So what happened? They cannot tell we are just a company, we are just a software company, so we don't know anything. So they can't tell that one and tell that and go out. The Act covers any system that facilitate transfer of funds. If they are moving money between companies or between banks, they must follow the central bank rules. So regardless of what they call themselves as software company, they are liable to central bank rules and regulations. So they can't tell we are a software company, we have only an app, so we don't know what happened to your money. So they can't tell. So that's the answer for the first question. Can they just say we aren't a bank, we are just a software company? No, they can't tell. Okay, the next one is, are they allowed to skip responsibility? No, disclaimer cannot override the law. Disclaimer means they tell we are not claiming for anything. We are just a software company. We don't know anything about your money. We are not liable. We don't do anything. So that's the disclaimer. No, disclaimer is not enough to override the law. Disclaimer is not enough to override the law. It's just an information purpose. Operators of payment system have a legal duty to make sure the transactions are safe and accurate. They cannot simply wash their hands off in flight. That means in transactions, we don't know what happened. It was a technical problem kind of things. They can't skip from their responsibility. The next question is, what can the central bank do if the central bank find out about this? What power do they have to stop this company doing operation? The power is central bank has the power to issue cease and desist. Cease and desist can stop the operations. That means stop this bank app and order that particular company to recover this money immediately. Once they met the requirements of a particular bank and they got the permission, then only they can come back to the business again. Until then, central bank has the power to seize the operation, stop the operation immediately. They have that power. So those are the powers, responsibilities, and regulations of that company. Okay, the next one is, okay, that's all. That's the end of our presentation. So I hope you got uh, a lead. I don't know whether with the limited time we have only 10 minutes more, but we completed our lesson as well as the questions. So if you have any problem right now, you can raise your hand or you can type on the question Q&A session, Q&A chat. So that's all about from my side. I summarized the entire chapter 4, and also explained the acts. Regarding the acts, you can just create a summary kind of table and compare those acts with each other. Then you will find out the similarities. Then try to remember the similarities. That's enough. And also, looking at the name itself, you can get the high level idea about the purpose of the particular act. For an example, if it's an intellectual property, name itself say the Intellectual Property Act. Okay, so that's enough. That's enough. Don't worry about the years, amended years, and kind of other things. But remember the institutions like ICTA, PDA office, NIPO office, and CERT, AppCert, kind of things. Those are few names, but very easy. So remember that kind of things. Yeah, that's all from my side to tell you. But if you have questions, you may raise, and I will inform that your message that you need BLA and what's the other one? You said BLA and BMA. Okay, BLA and BMA. I don't know the the full name. Anyway, I will tell BLA and BMA. You need more. What do you want actually? You need webinars. Okay, webinars for those two as well. Yeah, that I will inform to them. That's what I can do for you. That's only. So, any cases to discuss? Anything else you have to inform? Thank you for the session. Okay, thank you. Um, my lectures is does not cover the syllabus. That you have to inform to the institute. Anyway, fine, right? Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not doing AAT classes. I did earlier, but no longer doing. But they requested me to write the book. That's how I joined this. This DTI subject book was written by myself. So anyway, so then let's stop the session. I will inform you a message to the management. I don't know they will act or not, but the only thing is I can, as a help, I can inform that to them. Okay, then. Give me a second. What I have to do? Yes. Okay. One thing I have to take. Give me a second. I have something to finish. Otherwise. Okay, fine. You may leave the webinar. So if you want to leave, that's fine. Okay. So thank you very much. I wish you all the very best for you, all of your exams. Uh, Study well and write your answers. Do not explain unnecessarily. If it say identify, just identify. If it say explain, then only you need to explain. But explain doesn't mean you have to write full A4 sheet. Okay, don't remember that the length of your answer will not give you marks, but you have to cover the important points. Remember that one as well. Okay. Thank you very much for the session. I will stop from here. Thank you very much for attending the session.